The strangest thing ever is that I am, yeah, I exist. I am alive. Like, what's this all about, you know? What's this whole thing about being alive? It's really quite strange, the human experience, because it's so disconnected from nature, because we're making a whole story up in our mind and then believing that that's reality. Like right now, it feels like, you know, I'm like just a monkey or something. And with that idea that I'm just a monkey or just an animal, just here, just present, it's quite weird for me to look around and see that I'm dressed in these clothes and I'm in this room. Everything's like artificial. I mean, everything's nature. You can't get away from nature, but it's all you know. Everything is not raw, so it's quite weird to look around and see that this kind of reality that I'm living in. I don't know if I can explain it right. Um, I mean, when you think about when you think about what's actually going on here, in the sense of like, what the fuck, I'm alive. What is going on here? A good place to start is, I mean, first of all, you've got to be present. Like the first thing is you realize that you are alive, independent of who you think you are. Like you exist. What's interesting to play around with is yeah, to sort of perceive yourself to be just like a monkey, just sort of like on this planet with no responsibility. You see, because as humans, we've got so many fucking concepts in our mind. Oh, I've got to do this. I've got to get money, and I've got to have good relationships and all this. No fucking animals thinking like this except humans. No monkey's thinking like this. A monkey is just being, is just on Earth, just playing around. You know, monkey's got no responsibility. You know, animals don't wake up and be like, oh, what do I have to do today? Oh, I've got to go to the shop and get some milk. Oh, I've got to finish my work today. No, they just get up and they're like, oh, I exist. I don't know what anything is, but I am. You know, they've got no responsibility. And neither do humans. It's all self-made. You don't have to do anything. You just believe that you do. But that belief isn't based in any truth. It's yeah, it's society's programming saying you've got to take responsibility for these things. But really, you step back out of society and sort of view the whole cosmic game and perceive yourself to be an animal, like a monkey. You're just sitting here in the moment. The past doesn't exist, the future doesn't exist, it's just this. You're just sitting, no responsibilities, and you know, we've got the capacity to know that we're on a planet. And so when you start viewing life like this, like you're just a monkey, just an animal living on a planet in the middle of fucking nowhere, and how small you are. Can you see how insignificant society's brainwashing is now? Like the whole thing of, oh, I've got to get up and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. Oh, I've got to fulfill my responsibilities, my obligations that I hate to do. Fucking hell. I've got to live up to this expectation of society and other people. I've got to live up to my identity that I have just walked into. See, all this is just a human mind game. What's real? That's not real. That's just thoughts in our head. That's a mass hallucination that we're all following. See, and that's why it's hard to break out of that and see this kind of other perspective, because everyone's in this mind game. Everyone's believing that society and all its programming is real, like as a solid factual thing, like I have to get a job, or you know, any of this shit. I don't know. You know, we just stress all the time. Stress about the past and the future, because we think we have to maintain our identity. But our identity is just programming that's gone into us at a subconscious level that we didn't choose. That's from other people, that's from other monkeys' heads. We need to start thinking for ourselves. Which is scary to do, because once you do start thinking for yourself and discard all the shit that's being thrown onto you, then you're gonna fucking leave the tribe. And the tribe is like everybody, or basically all humans. And so that's fucking scary. To truly wake up, no one's going to understand you. You're going to be alone. And we are social creatures. Humans need interaction. But it's going to be like interacting with just like characters that aren't real. I don't know. But yeah, what I'm saying is that what we believe to be true isn't true. Anything that we believe. But start off with the easy stuff, because you know, like the thing, like you know, being free from society's expectations. Because I can sit here and worry about so much shit. I can sit here and worry that I'm not doing enough in my life. I can sit here and think about, you know, so much shit and just cause myself to stress. But it's all just happening in the mind, getting caught up in stories and beliefs and assumptions and all this. But when you just kind of like pull it back and be like, it's just this moment, like, I'm alive. Let's start with that. Let's start with the fact that I am. I exist. Okay. What the fuck am I? Who the fuck knows? But here I am. Being. See, language is very interesting, because language is a way to carry meaning, to share meaning. The interesting thing is, like, imagine if I didn't have language. I couldn't express my perception on myself, of myself and the world. Language is a dangerous tool, because we can construct a whole identity with language. I don't know. It's an interesting thing that humans are the only ones with language, the only ones that can communicate meaning with each other. But what are you without language? What if you just discarded language? I mean, the thing is language is a fucking helpful tool. So good. But it can also be detrimental to us. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just fucking saying some ideas. But yeah, I mean, like, start having this perception of that you're just a monkey with no responsibility or obligation to do anything. Just that you're alive, and that's a gift. You are alive, that's a gift. How the fuck are you alive? Who the fuck knows? But you are here now, and do whatever you want, you know? Like, the only thing that's stopping you is the bullshit programs and brainwashing that's gone into you by humans, other humans, society. So the only thing that's stopping you is that. And but you see, it's not real. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Is that you've got to see it for what it is. It's a game in a much larger game. You see, we are in a society, we've got to play the game, we've got to play by the rules. If we want a house, we do need to go fucking get money. And all this kind of shit. We've got to play by the rules of society, but you have to see that these rules are not true. They're not real. And if your whole reality is only of a social and cultural one, you're living in delusion. So yes, you've got to play by the rules of society to get by, but you've got to see that it's not real, that it's not true, that you don't actually have any responsibility or obligation to do anything. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be a certain way. You don't have to do certain things. You don't have to wear certain things. You don't have to be anyone. You don't have to live up to anybody's expectations. Now here's the thing, is that you may have to, because you are playing this game, you are in society. But you have to know that that's okay, you know, that you can still be free, is what I'm saying. Is that it doesn't dictate who you actually are, doesn't determine who you actually are. You know, it's like if you wanted to like walk around naked, because, you know, that's just how you were, how you felt. But of course, you know, society say you can't be walking around naked. Well, that shouldn't dictate your happiness. It's like, well, that doesn't really matter. I'll just fucking put on some clothes, whatever. Like, that doesn't, it doesn't really matter that much, you know? Oh, fuck, I'm trying to fucking explain this right, but I'm not. I mean, yeah, like we're living in stories in our head. We're living in so much stress that doesn't exist. You see, there's this self that you are that is just living. That's just here. That doesn't need to do anything. That is of value and worth just because. And then there's this other self, this conceptual self, this whole identity full of ideas and stuff that can think about shit and be like, oh, that's wrong in my life. Oh, I've got to do that and I've got to do this. And we mistake this reality we mistake these thoughts and concepts and all this with reality when it's just a mind game. It's like nothing really matters, you know? Like what actually matters. You see, you can only think about what truly matters and what doesn't matter with your thought, with your concepts. And so you can say, this thing really matters, you know? Like, the earth really matters. Let, we can't destroy the earth. We can't let global warming fuck up the earth. That's what matters. The earth really fucking matters. But that's a whole concept game. When you're in this kind of like non-dualistic awareness, it's like everything is just the way it's supposed to be. Everything's nature, everything's working lawfully. And so the fact that the planet is warming is just a lawful part of nature unfolding. And the fact that humans don't want this to happen is just another lawful unfolding. And you can see that in the grand scheme of things, nothing matters. You know why? Like, humans compared to any other animal on Earth are no better and no worse. And just like planet Earth is no better or worse than any other planet. I mean, we'd say it's better, but that's from a human bias level. And this is the thing, is that what I'm saying is that we've got to be on two levels at once. We've got to be a human. We've got to maintain this human identity. But we've also got to maintain this non-dual awareness. So on one level, it's like, I'm a human. Obviously, I don't want the planet warming up and, it's fucking up the earth, fucking up the environment. Obviously, I don't want that. But on another level, it's like, I can see, it's just, well, it's all lawfully unfolding just the way it's supposed to. Everything's perfect as it is. Everything's going smoothly. It can't not go smoothly. And so it's good to operate on these two levels simultaneously. And it's the same with this mind game of society. On one level, you've got to play by the rules of a human in society, but don't confuse that with who you are. Don't attach a sense of self to you playing the game of society. See, this is the trickiness here, is that people are playing their part in society, but attaching a sense of self to that part. And so the way that they dress is who they are. They identify with how they look, their face, and the way that they dress, and they identify themselves with what job they have and how much money they have. But you see, all this is just a game to play. It's not real. You've got to realize that. There is no inherent self there. You're believing in one that it doesn't exist. So anyway,